Kris Kremers and Lisanne Froon were best friends, fellow students, and roommates from Amersfoort, Netherlands. Lisanne Froon was a positive, intelligent, and passionate young woman. She enjoyed playing volleyball and spending time outside. Kris Kremers, 21, was characterized as a creative, dependable, and responsible individual. They not only shared a home, but also worked at the same restaurant. Lisanne, who was a year older than Kris, had graduated from Deventer with a degree in applied sciences, whereas Kris had recently completed her studies in cultural and social education with a focus on art education at the University of Utrecht. The girls had spent 6 months planning and saving for their 6-week trip to Panama. This would be a vacation and experience-building opportunity. They intended to hike and enjoy the views, while also volunteering with local children, learning Spanish and teaching the arts. This was a fantastic opportunity for the young woman, and she could not wait to get there. Kris and Lisanne flew from Amsterdam to Costa Rica, then boarded a bus to Panama. On March 15, 2014, the girls arrived in Panama. They traveled for nearly 2 weeks before moving in with a local family on March 29th. On April 1st, just before midday, they took one of the host dogs, Arzel, on a hike near the Baru volcano's surrounding forest. Before departing, they enjoyed brunch with a few other Dutch tourists, attracting the attention of several people in town. They then took the Pianista Trail, which was close to where they were staying. The hiking trail was popular among both tourists and locals. Given the breathtaking views and landscape, it's easy to understand why. They used social media frequently, discussing their hiking plans for the day on Facebook. Later that evening, the dog returned home without Kris or Lisanne. There hadn't been any contact with the girls all day. This was extremely concerning because they had both been in constant contact with friends and family via phone and social media since the beginning of their trip. The host was concerned that something sinister had occurred and contacted the National System of Civil Protection, or NSPC. However, the NSPC did not immediately follow up on this for unknown reasons. Local volunteers, well versed in the area, conducted the first search for the girls. The following morning, both girls failed to show up for an appointment with a local tour guide, and another day passed with neither of them seen or heard from. Finally, on April 3rd, an official area search for the hike began. Volunteers were on the ground, walking and searching. The trail covered a large area, and with a peak height of more than 1,800 feet, a thorough search would take a long time. 3 days later, Kris and Lisanne's parents arrived in Panama to assist with the search for their daughters. Police, sniffer dogs, and the girls' parents embarked on a 10-day search to find them with a $30,000 reward. The girls' parents didn't believe they would have deviated from the planned path, and it simply didn't make sense to them. It was a great day to be able to complete it. It was a wonderful day to be able to turn up and have more questions than answers. For 10 weeks, the case went cold until one of the locals discovered the first key piece of evidence on June 14th. Along a longer riverbank in Aotao Romero, locals discovered a backpack, later identified as a Zazan's. This was about a 14-hour walk from the trail the girl had started on. The bag was in perfect condition. It was neither wet nor damp, and it appeared to be unaffected by the elements. While she couldn't say how long the bag had been there, the woman who found it said she wasn't sure and hadn't seen it in days. The bag contained $83 in cash, 2 pairs of sunglasses, Lisanne's passport, Kris's medical insurance card, an empty water bottle, a camera, and both girls' bras. Inside, we also found Kris and Lisanne's mobile phones. Everything inside was in excellent condition, neatly packed and unaffected by the weather. The rucksack was not particularly high-end or waterproof, and questions about how the bag and its contents had remained in such excellent condition in a humid and wet rainforest for the previous 2 months began to arise. Uncertainty surrounds the identity of the numerous sets of fingerprints found on the bag, never fully analyzed. Fortunately, the phones in the backpack functioned flawlessly when turned on. The authorities were able to begin painting a picture of the hours preceding their disappearances. Only a few hours after they started their hike, Kris's iPhone 4 dialed 112. Dialing 112 from any country in the European Union will connect you with emergency services. 10 minutes later, they used Lisanne's Samsung to make another 112 call. Only a few hours into the hike, it became clear that something had gone horribly wrong. On April 2nd, Lisanne and Kris attempted 4 more times to call both 112 and 911, and on April 3rd, they called 911 again from their iPhone. The reception caused only one of these calls to connect for a second before disconnecting. It was clear that the Samsung battery had run out after 5 a.m. on April 5th, but Kris's iPhone remained charged until noon on April 11th. Kris made 77 attempts to contact emergency services between the 7th and 11th of April. All of these calls, unfortunately, failed. After April 6th, they successfully entered the iPhone passcode multiple times, but never again did they enter the correct PIN. Several times, Lisanne entered the iPhone passcode incorrectly, suggesting that she might have been trying to use Kris's phone after her own battery ran out. Alternatively, after spending 8 days in the wilderness, Kris might have struggled to concentrate and enter her PIN accurately due to dehydration and hunger. However, despite surviving for more than a week with only a few snacks and limited water, it was remarkable that one or both of the girls managed to use the phone. On April 11th, the iPhone was turned on and then turned off for the last time at 11:56 a.m. The camera inside the rucksack added to the mystery. They had taken a lot of photos of themselves at the start of their hike, looking out over the Continental Divide and happily following the trail. Nothing seemed out of place. The girls appeared to be having a wonderful time, and the weather was pleasant. The final photo, taken in the afternoon, shows Kris heading down the trail. The camera flash captured a total of 90 photos on April 8th. We took all of these between 1 and 4 in the morning. The majority were pitch black. The photographs depicted random areas of woodland, water, and sky. The police had a few theories. First and foremost, they used the camera's flash to illuminate the area and guide them through. Second, they were using the flash to scare away wild animals that might have been approaching. Third, if the phone was found, one or both women may have been photographing prominent forest features to help find them. One of the images depicted what appeared to be plastic bags or wrappers stuck to some sticks on the large rock. Another photograph captured what appeared to be a mirror on the ground. Alternatively, they may have taken these photos to retrace their steps and regain their bearings during daylight. The final theory suggests that they used the flash to draw the attention of anyone nearby or searching for them. A large search party deployed on April 8th and fired flares into the sky in an attempt to locate the girls. The party may have used the camera's flash as a distress signal to guide them to their location. This theory would be bolstered by the number of photos taken looking up at the sky. Kris's head appeared covered in blood in one of the photographs. This sparked another theory. Kris may have fallen and injured herself early in the hike, and Lisanne had left with Kris's phone to seek help on foot after failing to get a reception to alert the authorities. However, Kris may have died as a result of her injuries, while Lisanne succumbed to the elements, dehydration, or both. The deletion of only one photo from the images taken throughout the day and early hours of the morning on April 8th is irreversible. Image 509. The deleted photo coincided with the initial use of the flash based on the chronological order of the photos. We will never know the identity of this image or the reason for its deletion, but it could hold the key to solving the case. These photos, combined with attempts to contact help, revealed a series of terrifying and distressing days for Kris and Lisanne. A few years after the backpack's discovery, someone found Kris's shorts on a rock. Some claimed to have neatly folded them, while others said they had simply thrown them over the rock. A tragic discovery occurred 2 months later. They found a human pelvis and a hiking boot with a foot inside. Soon after, researchers discovered at least 33 human bones. Nearly a 12-hour walk from their last known location, they scattered along the riverbank. Investigators have identified suspected human remains and hiking boots found during the search for 2 young Dutch women as belonging to the girls. Last Thursday, a search team intensified their efforts to locate the girls who went missing while hiking in Panama, discovering 2 different types of shoes and bones. DNA tests revealed that the bones belonged to Kris Kremers and Lisanne Froon. The conditions surrounding Kris's bones likely bleached them. However, some people questioned whether the bleaching was natural or man-made. Among these bones, the police discovered the remains of 3 other unidentified individuals. Inclement weather frequently hampered the final and remaining searches, rendering the use of cadaver dogs ineffective. Poor weather and heavy rain make it extremely difficult for dogs to locate and follow scents. On the internet, people continue to speculate that the girls met with foul play, died while hiking, and had their remains scattered over a large area, killed by locals, kidnapped by a gang, and even murdered by cannibals. However, the police expressed their doubts about all these theories and have ruled out foul play. Although the full picture of what happened over those 11 days will never be known, police believe they have reached some conclusions. Investigators and locals discovered that the trail's rigid yet simple layout made it nearly impossible to lose sight of it and wander off course. Additionally, the trail was well known among tourists, increasing the likelihood of finding and providing assistance if something went wrong. So if the girls chose to completely deviate from the trail, they would have had to have a reason for doing so, or have purposefully used a different term rather than making an unintentional error. However, one section of the trail was considered potentially hazardous due to the risk of slipping and falling over 40 meters into the riverbank below. We discovered many of the girls' bones along the same river. A local knew the trail well, and he identified this spot as one that would have been nearly impossible to get out of if someone had fallen into it. Rikea Rocha and Krema's family lawyer both denied that they had fallen into the Calubre River. With no damage to the bones and low water levels in the river at the time they vanished, he claimed that this simply did not add up. A Panamanian forensic anthropologist stated that the girls' remains have no discernible scratches or marks on them. People would criticize the investigating officials for their handling of the case. People questioned the delay in the investigation and the lack of DNA or fingerprint testing on specific items. It will never be known what happened during those 11 harrowing and traumatizing days, but it is clear that the girls fought tirelessly to save themselves and seek assistance. Kris Kremers and Lisanne Froon had clearly fought hard and strategized to the best of their abilities. Their family and friends continue to search for answers, and they never give up hope that they will one day learn what happened to Kris and Lisanne on the Pianist's Trail in Panama.